So you want to make reselling on eBay as easy as possible. Now, this seems obvious, like it really does, and how hard can it be, right? But we do tend to make things hard for ourselves, just naturally as humans. And I want to go through this and help you understand what is easy mean when in terms of actually reselling on eBay, because there is an easy process. It is actually very easy to do, but we struggle with the steps or the requirements or the effort to actually make these easy steps happen. And that's because maybe we don't have, firstly, we don't understand our why. And we've spoken about that before, and we'll get to that shortly. But there's also another bunch of reasons which we kind of get stuck in terms of headspace, mindsets, and understanding of what actually is required to make things easy to sell on eBay. So if this sounds like something you want to know, you want to unlock, and you want to actually have your best year yet selling on eBay, whether it's reselling or just making a little bit of side money, then great. Let's get into it. So what does this even mean? How do we make selling on eBay as easy as possible? Well, one, if you feel like it is a grind, it is a challenge, or it's too hard, or you're not getting sales, or it doesn't work for you, then this is the perfect video for you. Firstly, as I said earlier, I've spoken about this before. There's a couple of things that you need to get right. And I did this in a video just recently. If you haven't watched that, go watch that first, then come back to here. And that is, you need to understand your why. Why are you even selling on eBay? Why do you want to resell? Why are you flipping? Whatever you want to call it. Why are you doing it? Understand that. Secondly is, now that you know your why, you need to know what you have to do to sell on eBay. And the first thing would be actually go read all the requirements, all the policies, all the understanding of what eBay is expecting of you to do. If you can understand that, that's going to get you over the line very quickly. But you need to understand what is required to actually make a sale. What is required to actually make this work? And then if you understand that, are you actually happy doing it? All right. Those are the three main characteristics. But now, if you have all the above in check, then maybe selling on eBay is already easy for you. But if you're still feeling stuck and maybe things just don't feel like they're working for you, then this is what you need to do. Number one is you need to remove the fluff. And what I mean by this is, in the last 30 days, what have you sold on eBay? In the last 30 days, what was the most common thing that you sold on eBay? And in the last 30 days, what did you buy and then sell on eBay? If you go through those 3 points, right? What you have sold, what was the most common thing you sold, and what did you buy and actually sell at the same period of those 30 days, then it's going to give you some really, really great insight and some information of what's working and what's not. If you haven't sold anything, well, then we have a bigger problem. But I think in the last 30 days, you would have sold something if you've been doing this already, right? And you'll be able to capture and identify, whether there's an outlier of an item or clothing or a category or something that's been selling more than something else. And then, did you buy any of this in the last 30 days and it sold within the same period of time? And if that is the case, then you want to do more of that. That's how you can remove the fluff. If something's working, rinse and repeat it, right? Because if you can buy something for $10, sell it for $40 and profit 10 or $15 or $20 profit, then great. Rinse and repeat. Do more of that. Now, it might not sound as simple as, oh yeah, but I can't find those items. Or how do I get more of them? Well, that's what you got to solve for. But you've removed the fluff. That's the bare basics of you want to do more of what works. As simple as that, right? And sometimes we overcomplicate it because you think, oh yeah, but that's not realistic. But it is. That's realistically how you can replicate something and make it really great. You'll have to solve some different problems, but if something sells and it sells within a short period of time and it's commonly selling, then that's a winner. That's what you want to rinse and repeat. That's what you want to continuously do. You want to get more of that and you want to keep selling it and make sure that it's meeting the metrics for your business, meaning making sure you're making the right amount of profit that's required. Now, what does metrics actually mean? If you are new here and you don't understand what metrics are, let me talk about it. Metrics being, is this cost effective to make profit? Ideally, can you double your money from it? If it costs you $10, you want to be able to sell it for a profit of $20 so that you can go buy 2 more at least. Okay? Point number 2 is you want to remove friction. In the last 30 days, again, I'm just using 30 days to help you get a grasping point. You can do longer than this, you can do shorter than that. What did you struggle to list or photo? What was it? Was it a type of category? Was it a type of clothing? Was it a certain DVD? Was it books? What did you struggle to list, or photo, and why? What made you frustrated, and what made you feel overwhelmed, and what made you feel unmotivated? If you can identify those things, those are the things that are friction points. Those are the things that are making you sloppy. Those are the things that are making you uncomfortable to not want to do it. Now, we need to be mindful here, because you do not want to use these as an excuse for being lazy. Sometimes we just need to go do the work and learn. Maybe it's because you don't know how to do something. Have you actually invested the time in learning? But I also understand if there's something that you're really good at and you don't have to think about it and you can replicate it and you can go sell it within 30 days, then great. That's what you want to do more of. But the question we want to ask ourselves with the friction point is, why are you struggling? Firstly, is you want to fix, you want to adjust, you want to change, or you want to remove problems which do not allow you to list. And the first thing being, is it the space? Is it the environment? Is it the setup? Is it the layout? Is it the time it takes you to set up? Or is it the time that it takes you to pack up? Is it the location? Is it the time of day? Is it the lack of comfort? Is it the lack of understanding? Fix this. It doesn't mean stop doing it. If you have a lack of understanding, learn how to do it. If, the table isn't comfortable because it's too low, then get a higher table or put something underneath it. You got to learn it's not about giving up. It's about adjusting. It's about fixing. It's about changing, and it's about pivoting. All right. Fix the struggles, remove the friction. Now, if you're frustrated or overwhelmed, you also need to ask yourself why. What is causing it? So if it's things beyond that you can fix, what else is causing you to feel frustrated or overwhelmed? Maybe you're biting off more than you can chew. Maybe you've jumped in way too quick, or maybe you've had some really big expectations or maybe you've got too big of expectations. You're feeling a lot of pressure from society, from, I'm documenting my journey. Maybe you watch my video and you see that I've done a certain amount of volume per week, and that makes you feel, disappointed because you haven't done that. You can't compare, right? There's people doing way bigger than me, and that makes me think, wow, how do I do that? And it makes me motivated, but sometimes it makes me frustrated too. Maybe you're buying too much stock. Maybe you can't handle that stock. Maybe you're not being consistent. Maybe you're not actually putting in the reps. Maybe you're not doing the efforts required to get those bigger results. Maybe you're going in big too soon. These are just some of the reasons why you might be frustrated or overwhelmed. And if you're not motivated, it's usually due to maybe you cannot see the value in the why you are doing this. Coming back to my original point, make sure you understand your why you're doing this. And maybe it is not easy to do, right? And that's the point of this video. We're going through to understand, how do we get ourselves motivated? How do we make this easy to do? And number one was you want to actually remove the fluff. And number two, we're talking about is removing the friction, right? And if you're not happy with the process, if you're not happy with the way things are working, make the adjustment until you are happy. So the short answer is this. If there is something stopping you, if there is something slowing you down, if there is something hindering you from making progress or making it easy or doing it easily, then you need to change it, you need to fix it, or you need to remove it. If it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, stop doing it. If it can work, but it just needs some adjustment, then change it. That's simple. And point number three is if it works, rinse and repeat it, right? Make it rinse and repeatable, right? So you have simplified what, you've now simplified how. So now how do we make it repeatable? How do we make the end-to-end process simple? And that end-to-end process will mean how you source the item, how do you process the item, how do you prep the item, how do you photo the item, how do you store the item, how do you list the item, and how do you ship the item to the customer? And then how do you contact and communicate with the customer after the sale has happened as well. So that's the step-by-step of what needs to happen from end to end. And you need to understand what that looks like for you. I'm not going to tell you, because you need to figure it out. If you don't go figure it out yourself, then you're not going to be able to do this. Like, I know that's really frustrating. I mean, if you've got a question and you need some clarification, please put it down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer it. But what I mean by this is, when you have those step-by-steps, this is what you need to be thinking about. So, okay, I am going to source items that meet metrics of this amount, meaning I'm going to buy items that only cost me $5 and guarantee me a profit of $20, whatever it may be. Or I'm willing to spend $10 if it means I can profit more than $30. I don't know. You need to build what those metrics look like for you. You want to process the items so they are ready to work, meaning you want to be able to have those items processed, prepped, and ready so that you can have them ready for photos, so that you can now photograph them. And you want to be able to have a photo process which is repeatable. So if you're doing clothing, that you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 15 photos, whatever it may be, have a process for what you do for your photos. Make it exactly the same for every single item, right? It's that simple. Then how are you storing these items? So you want to have a SKU. You want to have an inventory management system that makes it very easy to find your items. It's very great. It's awesome that you can memorize where you've got your 15 items in your shelf at the moment. But if you start to get really good at actually making progress, and all of a sudden you've got 1,500 items, you're not going to be able to remember where they all are. Or you just dump them somewhere else and it doesn't work in your flow. Get a SKU system and make it easy to find. The other thing is you want a list with templates and building in little shortcuts and things that make your life easier. Maybe you have a business model that enables you to do price bucketing. Price bucketing is essentially you upload those items and you will price them at exactly the same. It doesn't matter if they're really good or really bad. Maybe if they're bad, you want to lower the price a little bit. But what I'm saying is you might have a top tier price bucket, a medium level tier price bucket, and then a lower tier price bucket so that people know what they're buying and the value, and it helps generate perceived value. Now, you don't want to undercut yourself, but you need to know what things are worth so that you can just price bucket things to make your life a little bit easier. Meaning, if you know something you can buy for $10 and it will sell every day for $40, don't list it for $50, list it for $40, right? I will just say, talking about listings, I do have a listing service. We've now listed over 10,000 listings for our customers. We primarily are doing clothing at this point in time, but we do actually list everything. And if that's something that you're interested in, reach out to me. More than happy to have a conversation with you. There's an email here you can reach out to. And yeah, we provide a 24 to 48 hour turnaround service. It's currently $1.50 Australian per listing. And yeah, we've got some really happy customers. We've done over 10,000 items now at probably approaching closer to 11,000. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, let me know, but enough on that. The other thing you need to think about is then once you've listed the item, once you've sold the item, how do we now ship the item? And the best way to look at this is how would you want to receive it? That's the best way to ship it. Of course, you need to make it cost effective and make it a smooth process in actually picking, packing, and posting. So this is how you make it easy. I know it sounds fluffy. I know it sounds like, yeah, but that's a lot of work. Well, the reality is you do need to spend a lot of work making this happen. This is not an easy, quick, rich scheme. It can be a very easy process, but it requires a lot of hard work. And you're probably thinking, Chris, you're saying easy and hard in the same sentence. Yes, because what this requires, what reselling, what any business requires, what anything that you want to level up in is going to require effort. It's going to require problem solving, decision making, changes, work, commitment, dedication, attention, focus, consistency. If you're not willing to do any of those things, then you may as just stop trying to do reselling. I'm just being frank, because you're going to have to do all those things. If you can do those things, it's going to be easy for you. And it's about learning how to be better at putting in the effort. It's about learning how to be a better problem solver. It's about learning how to be willing to make changes, to make better decisions, how to work better, how to commit to things, how to stay dedicated, how to have better attention, how to be focused, and how to be consistent every day. That's it. Now, if that doesn't seem possible to you, then this will never be easy for you. That is the hard truth. That is the reality of it. If you've got any questions, thoughts, you want to continue the conversation, chuck them down below. Otherwise, we'll be doing this all again soon enough. I appreciate you being here. You have a wonderful day. Cheers.